everyone, this is Rachel Alexander with Keller Realty coming to you with another episode of Real Talk with Rachel. And I wanted to discuss a topic that comes up from time to time and, just kind of ease concerns about it, with this video, okay? And that question that I get asked from time to time is, Rachel, can we just pop over and see this property? We just want to pop in, see it. We won't take too much of your time. We're available at 2 o'clock. Okay. And so what I wanted to address is what goes through my head when I receive that call, when I receive that text, when I receive that email. Okay. The first thing that I'm wanting to know is, number one, do I know you? Are you a stranger? Are you someone from, my circle of friends, or maybe a friend of a friend, that sort of thing? And the reason why I'm asking that is because I want to have some form of vetting to know that you're a safe person. Okay. Now, with that being said, there are some realtors, and I hate to even have to say this, but there are some realtors who have not made it home. There are some realtors who have become victims of violent crimes because the person that they've taken out to view property, they didn't know. Maybe they just popped over to show them the property, be no big deal, and honestly, a lot of realtors will show you property without really knowing you, okay? And so what I want to iterate here is just, my top concern is safety and being able to make it home. And knowing that the person that I'm with is going to be a person who's a friendly person, but someone that I can be safe with. So that's the first thing that I know. Not necessarily operating out of fear, just operating out of caution, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing that I want to know is, are you pre-approved? Are you pre-qualified? Have you talked with the lender? Okay. So basically, I'm looking for three things with that question. Number one, are you in a position where you can qualify for the home so that if you like it, you can move on it, okay? And the reason why that's important is not necessarily trying to rush you. I've worked with people, for upwards of a year in finding the perfect property. So it's not trying to rush the person. It's knowing that as a seller, because I've sold my own home before, you think that every person coming through the door is a possibility of a person that could be a buyer for your home. They could be the person that, hey, they're going to buy this home so that you can move to a larger home to accommodate the extra bedroom that you need. Maybe that person is, it's going to be the buyer to help you downsize so that you have less lawn maintenance to be able to take care of, okay? And so when a seller is selling their property, the assumption is that pre-qualified or pre-approved buyers are the people that are going through, are the people that are seeing the property, okay? So that's one of the reasons for the pre-qualification question. The other reason for the pre-qualification question is because I want to know that you're comfortable with the monthly payment or the loan amount that the property, that I think where it can be negotiated to based off of current market conditions. So for example, if the property is $270,000, and you've got a pre-approval for $200,000, that's not going to be, to me, a realistic property for us to go view because it's substantially outside of the price range where you're comfortable. What I always tell my people is that I want for you to be able to call me within 60 days after you close on the property and feel comfortable making your monthly payments. I don't want it to be a strain for you. I don't want you to be house poor. You can't afford to go on vacations, can't afford to, put an extra, tank of gas in the car for the month. A house should definitely be something that isn't, a stress and a strain on you. So I want to make sure that your monthly payment or your loan amount is what you're comfortable with as far as your pre-approval. The next thing that I'm checking for with that question is basically I want to make sure that the loan type that you're pre-approved for is going to be something that works with that property. So my dad is ex-military. He's ex-Navy. I have a lot of respect for veterans, was raised in a military town over in Pensacola, okay? Now, what I'm checking for, again, with the pre-approval question is, for example, if you're working with, and this is just one of the loan types, but if you're working with a VA loan, so a loan that veterans are allowed to get. So if you're working with a VA loan, the VA is going to require that the house has no wood rot or that the seller is able to completely clear all of the wood rot. So for example, there may be a house that you really like, but may not be necessarily working with your loan type because they know that they have a substantial amount of wood rot on the property. So they may be unwilling to work with your type of loan, which is at that point a veteran's loan, or VA loan rather. The other thing that may happen with substantial amount of wood rot is maybe the seller can't afford to make the wood rot repairs. They don't necessarily want to not work with a VA loan. Maybe they just can't afford to do that, okay? So I'm just giving you an example of a loan type that, you know, I know that it has certain conditions that it doesn't, you know, on the surface, the property is not going to work with the loan type that you're working with, okay? So then, you know, I may ask, well, have we explored all the loan options? Is this particular type of loan, in this case, a VA loan, is this the only loan that you were interested in, or the only loan that your lender mentioned to you as something that you could pre-qualify for, okay? So those are the things that are going through my head as a professional realtor with how I do business. Whenever someone asks me to see a home, I want to make sure, and I want to know that you're a safe person. I want to know that the monthly payment is something that you're going to be able to afford, that the house is going to be a blessing and not a stressor. I want to make sure that the house is going to be able to be something that's going to work with your loan type. And then I also want to know that, you know, we're respecting the sellers with them opening up their home. And, you know, this is a viable buyer that, hey, if they like the home, they can move forward on it, okay? So those are the things that kind of go through my head. Now, what I wanted to discuss now is real talk about life. And one of the things that I wanted to encourage people to do is really just to incorporate self-care into your life. And by self-care, I'm not saying, you know, be the selfish person who is only concerned about what they need. That's not what I'm saying. But I do think that, you know, you can't pour from an empty cup. And we hear that a lot, you know, kind of in mommy circles, that you can't pour from an empty cup. So whether that be a couple minutes of meditation a day, whether it be a weekly manicure, pedicure, whether it be just, you know, taking time to do your makeup in the morning, or, you know, honestly, you know, just, you know, ducking off, having a cup of coffee by yourself without, you know, and moms, you know this, without somebody else asking for what you have, okay? So just self-care, make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Life can definitely get crazy, and you want to make sure that you are able to pour into others by first pouring into yourself. So I hope that you guys have a great weekend. I want to make sure that I'm available to you. So give me a call, shoot me a text. My number here is 850-206-2199. You guys have a great weekend.